All right. Very happy to be 1-0. I was told a long time ago, a win's a win. And there's hard wins. There are no bad wins. And that is my message to the football team today. There are no bad wins. That's a really good football team out there. Now, people all in here and some other people are going to say, wow, yeah, they're FCS. That they have a chance to win the national championship in FCS. And that team has beat a lot of Division I teams. You look at 2016, as I said, they took TCU, scored 41 points on TCU. That's a very good football team. That is a tough football team. That's a well-coached football team. And I knew what type of game that was going to be when that was set up, and I saw the schedule years ago. You got to give them all the credit in the world. They played their hearts out. They played really well, and they're tough. Sometimes you don't play your best. You get tested, your back's against the wall, and you find a way to win. That's why I'm proud of this team. Yesterday, Serena Williams, not sure if any of you follow tennis, JG does. She lost her first set to a 17-year-old. And she came back to win the match. We were tested tonight. And our players passed the test. And whether we won by 40 or 20 or 7, we won. Now, are there a lot of things we have to get better at? Yes. Are there a lot of things they did that maybe we hadn't seen before that we had to adjust to? Yes. Are they really talented? Yes. Did our players find a way to win? Yes. Are we 1-0? Yes. So that's what we're going to focus on. And we have a lot of work to do from game 1 to game 2, but we found a way to win. I want to thank our crowd. This was the largest home crowd since 2016. I want to thank our administration for thinking outside the box, especially with the State Fair being here. I want to thank all of our fans for being here. Unbelievable electric atmosphere the entire night, especially with it being so late. It just meant a lot to our football program, and they brought the energy and the juice in those final 6-7 minutes. Again, I'm proud of our football team. They found a way to win. We didn't do everything right, but there are no bad wins. That's for all you to decide, not inside my team walls, not how we talk to our team. Do we have a lot to learn? Yes. Was this a very hard game? Yes. Could we have lost this game? Yes. But they didn't. They won the game. So with that, I'll open it for questions.
What are the primary areas where you think you need to improve?
All of them. We need to improve in all areas. Good question, Andy.
Sorry.
No.
Did some of the stunts and games they're running defensively up front confuse your line a little bit?
Well, here's the thing. I said it earlier in the week that we were going to prepare for ghosts. And everybody kind of said, well, what does that mean? When you play a team that has a lot of time to prepare for you, that this is their Super Bowl, right? And there's things they did that they haven't done before. New running quarterback. There's going to be new schemes. There's going to be new things that are in there. We knew that we'd have to be able to adjust on the fly. We adjust on the fly. Then they're a really good coaching staff. They changed that and went to something else. Then they changed that and went to something else. So we were constantly chasing. And we finally got into a groove towards the end of the game, but it almost like we had to empty their entire game plan just to kind of figure it all out because they constantly kept changing it, which is the sign of a really good coaching staff. And that's where you give them a lot of credit. But that's what I meant when I said we're chasing ghosts. And you got to give them a lot of credit because they executed it perfectly. They're a tough football team. I'm telling you, that number 90, that defensive end, he's a special football player. High motor, F15, a really good wide receiver. That quarterback played really well for his first start. My goodness, played really well. I think our quarterback played pretty well too.
How would you assess the run game particularly?
We got to get better at it. You saw the game plan. They took Tyler Johnson completely out of the game, did everything they could to take him out of the game, no matter where we put him. And so that's why Rashad had the ability. So a lot of our play-action game, how they were playing us, we had to run the ball a little bit more and didn't have as many RPOs as we needed to be able to have. And that goes on me. But I thought our running backs run really hard. We got to block better. I thought we were inconsistent up front. I did. And again, that starts with me. I've got to get them. I got to get more out of it. I've got to get more out of them. I've got to be able to make sure they do it better. But there are also some times where we needed some big yards, and they're able to do it. But we just need more consistency.
Do you think the way in Bateman showed it last year, but as he produces like this and makes some of those catches, do you think that'll deter teams from doing that with Tyler, or do you think you're just going to see that kind of defense?
Well, just like when I said we're preparing for Ghosts for them, this is our first game. You know, I can have an idea of what kind of football team we have, and I think what we're going to be good at, and then we go do it, and now we have data. Now we have all this information. But if people are going to do it to 6, look what 13 just did. And then, you know, Chris Altman-Bell got hurt. He'll be back hopefully here soon. I don't think that was major. But then, you know, Demetrius Douglas as well. And then you throw in the backs. We just have to be more consistent. I thought at times we pressed a little bit early. I thought we were a little too maybe amped up. Missed a few key things early that maybe could have got it going earlier. But when you don't execute on those small things early, that's when you allow for a team like South Dakota State to stay in the game. And they did.
You get that fumble recovery late. What's the mood on the sideline? What are guys saying?
Joy. I don't even know how to describe it, right? I mean, but here's the thing. We are going to play in a lot of close games. I think everybody talks about this Big Ten West, right? And we're not even in conference play yet, but we're going to play in close games. We're going to have to learn how to play and win close games. We just had one of the closest games we've ever had. Now, Indiana game was really close. This reminded me of that Indiana game. And our players found a way to go win the game. And that's what I'm focusing on. Because they could have just laid down. They could have let that happen. They found a relentless way to go get the football, right, at the very end. Chris's interception was absolutely huge at a critical time. We didn't execute on the next drive offensively. Defensively, we went to drive 90 yards down and respond. But we were able to make some big plays at some big moments. And that's why I'm proud of our players for doing that. Now, we'll clean up all the other stuff.
Catch, the touchdown, one-handed catch, grabs that ball. If you can just go through what you saw there and the difficulty of a grab like that.
It's a very difficult catch. You know, you guys can come to practice. I'll throw you one. We'll simulate that. It's very, very difficult. But, you know, Rashad Bateman lost his uncle 2 weeks ago. Probably the closest father figure he has in his life. And watch him go through all that, go back home, come back, go through grief, come back, bounce back, have some tough days at practice, open up and talk about it. You know, we want our men to do that. We don't want our men to hold it all in. He was able to do that to a lot of important people, specialized people that we have inside our administration and our organization that Mark Coyle and our athletic department allow us to have, the resources for our student athletes. And that is why mental health is so important, because that young man can come make a catch like that and play like that he did today when losing the biggest male figure in his life 2 weeks ago and play like that, right? I mean, that's what this is. That's what it's all about. And we are allowed to have the resources through our administration that give him the help that he needs mentally, physically, and emotionally, and can send him back so he can be at the funeral, be at the wake, and put closure to that. The catch was beautiful. But what I saw was the process leading up to that catch. And when he caught it, that's Rashad responding to adversity, because that's what he does. That's why I picked Minnesota. One of the most adverse situations he ever had was picking us over all the other teams that offered him, right? But he's a special player, and you saw that tonight. So having more than one weapon, that's what we're starting to show, okay? And now we haven't had as many, so now we're starting to figure out how it's all going to work. And that's got to be a big growth from week 1 to week 2.
Do you have an update on Carter Coughlin?
I don't have an update right now. Finished the game, did some nice things, which was good, but I don't have an update. I'll find out as we keep going. But must not have been too bad if you went back into the game, but we'll see.
Do that game kind of pivot a little bit? When you have a 10-minute drive, 18 plays, they come back in 3 and out, and then you get it back, and you guys go 3 and out, where if you could have sustained something right there, maybe that game would have felt different.
Yeah, these are all learning moments, right? There's one thing for us the other day to, you know, when you start to learn from last year, we did that all in the offseason, right? We took all offseason to study us from last year. Once you started getting into this year, even before you play, you know, you had Florida, Miami to learn from, right, which we studied them. And then you had Hawaii, Arizona. So we broke those games down and showed them just situational stuff, how games are lost, how games are won, things like that, as we continue to educate our team how to go win games. But as we keep going, we're going to find out the identity of this football team. And we're going to do that by teaching what we're really good at and what we're not very good at right now. And being able to put a game away like that, that's what this team has to understand. no matter who you play. We have a 10-minute, 5-second drive. I think that's the most plays on a Gopher scoring drive since 2008. That's our style of football. Well, that's got to happen all the time. Either that or an explosive play. So we can't go 3 and out, though, after that. And our players are going to learn why. And you keep somebody around like that. You keep somebody around instead of putting the game away. We have the ability, I think, and the players, if we do have leads, to put people away. We just have to figure out amongst our whole team, how are we going to be able to do that, right? As with all these weapons as we continue to go forward. But now we have data, and now we can continue to get better from week 1 to week 2.
What was the reason for Kamal's absence?
If you don't do the right things, you don't play. Said that from day one. It's an extension from last year, and he'll be available next week. But again, I'm not going to – I've said it before, and I'll say it one more time. I'm not going to sacrifice winning for doing the right thing and teaching young people lessons. It doesn't mean he has to be off the football team, but you're going to have to pay a price. And whenever I say that price is, or other people as well say what that price is, you're going to pay that price. And we're not going to compromise that here. We're not. We're going to because that taught him way more than if we'd say, okay, you could play.
Can you analyze
So that's what we're going to keep doing, because that's going to affect him 30 years from now of doing the right things. Instead of, oh, yeah, well, just because we want to win this game, we'll play you, give her a better opportunity. I thought the guys who stepped in played really hard. But we'll be excited to get Kamal back.
defensively, can you analyze the run game from South Dakota State?
They did a great job. They did a great job mixing it up. I didn't think we held inside very well, so I got to go back and look at that and see what the reasons were, right? But again, you got to give them credit. Their scheme was really good. What they were doing, how they were doing it. And again, they had a running quarterback as well. They added some things they probably haven't had with the quarterback they had in the past. So again, we hadn't seen a lot of that stuff from them. We anticipated it, but you don't know what they're going to do. So I think that was partially part of it, and the other part is they're a really good football team.
Winfield had a third down pass breakup, quarterback hit on an interception. Kind of see his impact on the defense when he's up there.
Oh, yeah, he's a tremendous football player. But I thought he almost, at times, wanted to overperform. He wanted to do everyone else's job at times because he's that good. He comes in on a sack on a quarterback and jumps, which he never jumps, but he jumped. And quarterback took out. It would have been a nice sack and loss of probably 8. But, again, he hasn't played football in a long time. And let's never forget that, right? I mean, these are young people. He's getting back into the swing of things. This was our first football game. And I was taught a long time ago, whether it's your first game or your 10th game, it's not good for your first game. It's not bad for your first game. It's either good or bad. Doesn't matter what the game is. Like some people say, well, that's good for a freshman. No, it's either good or not. No one cares you're a freshman. No one cares you're a senior. It was good enough or not. There were a lot of things we were good enough at tonight, and there's a lot of things we weren't good enough tonight. For whatever reason it was, we got to get it fixed. But again, I will say it again. That's a really good football team. And those teams, that's why you hear every year, you hear upset after upset after upset, whatever it was. Teams like that go beat Power 5 teams all the time. Maybe not all the time. I should make sure, because you'll say that's not all the time. Some of the time. But you got to give them a lot of credit. One more?
Can you talk about the 2-point conversion and the play that you drew up and maybe why that was the right time to run that play?
Yeah, we've got a banner in our indoor. It says, because of the Philadelphia Eagles practice in our facility, right? Because they gave us them, right? And so we put this banner up, kind of for recruiting, kind of cool, Super Bowl champs. Banner, they practiced in our indoor. We're recruiting always. And they happened to run that play. I think everybody in the country has that play somehow, some way in their back pocket. Just decided to use it at that point. It's a great call by Kirk Shiraka. Wonderful execution by Rodney. Tanner, it was a great catch. Great catch. We didn't talk a lot about individual performances, but I thought Tanner played really well. I mean, he was 13-18, had a touchdown, managed the game really well. I think he showed he can even do more as we keep going forward through the interception. But like I said before, he responds really well. He's a tough individual. And the more he plays, the better he's going to get. Again, everybody's first game. Doesn't matter if it's first or not. Was it good enough or not? We won. And now we move on to game 2. And we need to be better and work to be 1-0 in the Fresno State season. So I really appreciate everybody being here. Again, just want to thank our crowd. I want to thank our fans. And row the boat, Scotty Mile, go Gophers. Thanks a lot.